Do you ever notice how much energy we waste trying to explain ourselves to people who don't even really care? Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself justifying your choices, defending your dreams, or waiting for someone to approve your goals? Let me tell you something. Every moment you spend trying to prove yourself to others is a moment you take away from your own growth. It's time to stop. Once you turn your focus inward, everything around you starts to shift. Why? Because success doesn't come from talking about your plans. It doesn't come from trying to convince others that you're capable. It comes from doing. It comes from discipline. It comes from showing up for yourself daily, even when no one's watching. Most people don't reach their goals because they're too distracted. They let outside noise interfere with their progress. They scroll endlessly through social media, comparing their journey to someone else's best moments. They worry about what friends or family might say if they take a different route. They waste energy arguing with people who don't care about their success, and by the end of it, they feel tired, frustrated, and stuck in the same spot. But listen when you cut out the noise, when you stop explaining yourself. When you put your energy only into what matters, that's when you become truly powerful, because the truth is, success is built quietly. It's made in early mornings when the world is asleep. It's built in those times when you choose effort over applause. It's built in those quiet moments when you keep going even when nobody notices. You don't need a crowd. You don't need their approval. What you need is consistency. The more you focus on your own journey, your personal growth, your discipline, your learning, the more your life starts to align, better opportunities come your way. You make wiser choices. You feel more confident, not because someone else said you're good, but because you've shown it to yourself through your actions. And just to be clear, this doesn't mean you isolate yourself or push people away. It means you guard your energy. It means you choose wisely where you give your time and focus. It means knowing that not every conversation needs your response. Not every opinion deserves your attention, and not everyone should have access to your mental space. Once you learn to protect your focus, you begin to take full control of your life. And here's the best part. When you work silently, when you stop announcing every move, your success starts to speak for itself. People begin to notice. They'll wonder how you did it. They'll see the results without you saying a word. Your actions will say more than any speech could ever say. So here's a challenge for you. Stop talking about what you plan to do. Stop worrying about other people's opinions. Stop waiting for approval. Just start doing the work. Focus on yourself, show up each day, and trust that if you do that, everything else will fall into place. You've got this, now go and make it happen. What you focus on grows. If you focus on personal growth, discipline, and learning, your life will shift. It's really that clear. Your energy is one of the strongest powers you have. And most people don't realize just how much control they have over their own lives. Every thought you think, every decision you make, every move you take is shaping your future. But the problem is most people direct their energy the wrong way. They focus on what's missing instead of what's possible. They chase distractions instead of staying disciplined. They listen to outside voices instead of following their own path. And then they wonder why they're stuck. The reality is your life mirrors what you focus on. If you feed your mind negativity, if you hang around the wrong people, if you waste your time on useless things, your world will reflect that. But if you start putting your energy into improving yourself, into learning, growing, and becoming your best, your life will begin to transform. And this isn't just positive thinking. This is backed by science. Your brain is wired to find more of what you focus on. It's called the reticular activating system. It acts like a filter, bringing your attention to the things that match your main thoughts. Ever notice how when you're thinking of buying a certain car, you suddenly see it everywhere? That's your brain at work. Now think about this. What if you trained your mind to focus on chances instead of limits? What if you taught yourself to see answers instead of problems? You'd begin to attract more of what you truly want. Instead of just accepting what life hands you, the issue is most people don't own where their energy goes. They let the world guide them instead of choosing their own direction. They wake up and scroll through their phones, letting the news and social media decide how they feel that day. They get caught in gossip, in negativity, in meaningless distractions, and then they wonder why they're mentally drained. But here's the truth. Your energy is your job to manage. No one else is going to protect it for you. If you want a different life, you have to be deliberate about what you allow into your thoughts and space. That means setting firm boundaries, saying no to anything that doesn't match your goals, staying close to people who push you ahead, not pull you back. That means swapping complaints for action, excuses for self-control, and mindless habits for focused effort. When you do this, when you decide to feed your mind with the right thoughts and your life with the right behaviors, results will follow. And once you begin to see real results, everything starts to shift. Suddenly, the things that once upset you don't matter anymore. The negativity that used to drag you down doesn't even register. The people who didn't believe in you fade into the background, not because the world changed, but because you did. You taught yourself to care about what really matters, and once you give your full energy to growing, becoming wiser and stronger, your outside world will reflect that. That's why success isn't just about being lucky. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your mindset, your actions, and your energy all support the kind of life you want. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need a perfect plan, but you do need to be deliberate with your focus, because in the end, you're either feeding your future or feeding your fears. So ask yourself, what are you giving your attention to? Because that one choice is shaping your life, whether you see it or not. Distractions kill progress. It's one of the main reasons why people stay stuck for years. Not because they lack skill, not because they're not smart, but because they waste time on things that don't matter. Every time you let your attention be pulled by negativity, by gossip, by unimportant noise, you lose time and power that could have gone toward your goals. And the hardest part is many people don't even notice it. Think about how many hours you've spent watching others live their lives instead of building your own. How often you let someone's rude comment ruin your day. How many times you said you'd start something meaningful but let small things pull you off course. That's what distractions do. They take you away from your purpose, and the more you allow them in, the harder it becomes to stay focused. And let's be honest, distractions aren't always obvious. Sometimes they look like urgent things, but really aren't. An argument. You didn't need to have a meeting that could have been avoided. A social outing you didn't even want to attend. These little things build up, and before you know it, you've lost valuable time that could have pushed you forward. That's why the most successful people guard their time fiercely. They don't let distractions take over their schedule. They don't waste effort on things that don't support their mission. They protect their focus because they know that without it, nothing great happens. You need to start thinking the same way. If you truly want to do something meaningful, you can't let your attention be pulled in every direction. You need to control your space, your habits, and your thoughts. One of the most common distractions is caring too much about other people's opinions. It's amazing how much energy we lose just by worrying what others might think. We hesitate to take chances because we fear judgment. We hold back on our goals because we don't want to be criticized. But here's the truth, people will always judge, no matter what you do. So why not go after what fulfills you? Why not focus on building a life that feels right to you instead of worrying about someone else's view? The moment you stop letting outside opinions guide your life, you finally get to focus on what truly matters. And when you do that, your life changes. You get more done. You move forward. You feel more confident. Not because someone else praised you, but because you earned it yourself. But because you proved to yourself that you're capable. That's the power of cutting out distractions. It makes room for you to grow into the person you were always meant to be. But here's the thing, this kind of change doesn't happen by luck. You have to be deliberate about it. It means drawing clear boundaries. It means saying no more often. It means creating a daily rhythm that puts your goals above everything else. It means clearing out anything in your life that holds you back, whether that's toxic people, unhelpful habits, or time-wasting routines. Because at the end of it all, success isn't just about grinding non-stop. It's about being smart. Being smart means guarding your focus with everything you have. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're annoyed that you're still far from where you want to be, ask yourself honestly, where's your energy going? Are you spending it on things that help you grow, or giving it away to distractions that keep you standing still? Because the moment you start taking your focus seriously, everything begins to shift. You begin to move faster. You start noticing real progress. You begin to see how much more you're truly capable of when you stop letting distractions run your life. And the best part, once you lock this in, it becomes a pattern. Focus becomes your natural way of being. Progress becomes your new normal. And those old things that used to throw you off They lose their power because you've taught yourself how to stay focused on what truly counts. So don't let distractions rob you of your future. Guard your time, guard your energy, and watch how quickly your life turns around. Success isn't about some huge moment. It's about the little steps you take over and over again. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that one big change will fix everything, that one major breakthrough, one lucky shot, or one perfect moment will suddenly flip your life around. But that's not real. The real path to success is built through consistent effort. The tiny things you do without attention, the quiet habits that seem small, are the ones that lead to massive change over time. Think about it. Every decision you make is either moving you ahead or holding you back. Waking up early to chase your dreams, that's growth. Reading instead of endless scrolling, that's growth. Choosing discipline over comfort, that's growth. And even though these steps might look small right now, when you repeat them every day, they begin to pile up. Most people never reach their goals because they don't understand how strong consistency is. They try something new, but when results don't show up fast, they stop. They give effort for a week, but when things still look the same, they slip back into old patterns. What they don't see is that real success comes from showing up again and again, even when no one's watching, even when you feel tired, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because results take time, but that doesn't mean they're not coming. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't put it in the soil and feed a tree the next morning, you water it, you take care of it. You wait patiently in the beginning. It looks like nothing is happening, but under the ground, roots are growing, getting stronger, preparing to rise. That's exactly how growth works. Every time you take a small step, you're building your base. You might not see anything yet, but if you keep showing up, the results will follow. The issue is most people stop too early. They get upset when they don't see quick wins. They start to believe their work isn't worth it. But the truth is, everything you do adds up. If you're always learning, always improving, always trying, even in little ways, you're putting yourself in a position to win. The people who reach their goals aren't the ones who made one big move. They're the ones who stayed consistent long after others gave up. And here's the best part. Once you begin to see some success, momentum kicks in. One good habit leads to the next. One small win pushes you toward another victory. Success feeds on itself. But it all begins with those small, repeated choices. That's why your daily habits matter so much. The things you do without thinking, they shape your future. If you want better health, it's not about one crazy workout. It's about moving every day. If you want real success, it's not about one big break. It's about learning constantly and getting a little better every day. If you want to feel more confident, it's not about waiting for others to praise you. It's about proving through action that you can rely on yourself. The good thing is, you don't need to wait to begin. You don't need everything to be perfect. And you don't need anyone to say yes. You just need to choose one thing, even if it's small, and do it every day to move forward. And if you stay on that path, if you believe in the process and keep pushing even when progress feels slow, one day you'll look around and realize that your life is completely changed. That's the power of small, consistent growth. It's not about one giant leap. It's about steady daily choices. Because when you live like that, success stops being a wish and starts becoming your reality. Confidence doesn't come from approval. It's not about likes, comments, or compliments. It's not about hoping someone else tells you that you're enough. Confidence comes from doing, from proving to yourself through real effort that you can handle whatever comes your way. The more you do things for yourself, the less you need outside praise. Most people believe confidence is something you either have or you don't, but that's false. Confidence is a skill, and like every skill, it grows with practice. You don't build confidence by sitting and thinking about doing something. You build it by stepping up, by taking action, by facing fears, even when you're nervous. Here's the reality. If you always wait for approval before moving forward, you'll never get far. Because not everyone will support you. Not everyone will understand your dreams. And if you let that stop you, you'll never move. You'll shrink to fit a life that feels easy but lacks meaning. Think about the most confident people you know. What do they share? It's not that they have no fear. It's not that they always know what to do. It's that they trust themselves enough to take the next step, even in doubt. They don't wait for permission. They don't sit frozen by opinions. They act. And by acting, they gain proof that they're able, proof that they can get through it, proof that they can learn as they go. That's the real secret. Confidence isn't about being ready. It's about doing before you feel ready. Most people wait until they feel sure, but the problem is that moment never really arrives. There will always be fear. There will always be questions. But if you let that stop you, you'll never begin. The only way to grow your confidence is to act even when you're unsure and trust that you'll handle whatever comes next. And once you begin doing that, your need for outside approval fades when you show yourself that you can do it. You stop looking for others to tell you. You stop needing applause because you already know your worth. That's when confidence becomes real because it's built on truth, not opinions. This is why people who take chances, who step into discomfort, who challenge themselves over and over, always seem more confident. It's not because they have no fear. It's because they've seen themselves win. And they trust that they can do it again. The great thing is, you don't need to be the best or the smartest or the most experienced person. You just need to be willing to move. Because confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. Every time you face a fear, every time you push forward, every time you take a step in spite of doubt, your confidence gets stronger. So if you've been waiting for the perfect time, stop. If you've been holding back because of what others might say, let it go. If you've been hoping someone else will validate your dream, know that the only person who needs to believe is you. Confidence isn't knowing everything. It's trusting yourself to take the next step, even if the path isn't clear. And when you start living this way, when you stop hesitating and begin acting, everything shifts. You see that you never needed permission. You never needed someone else's approval. You just needed to show up. Again. And again until confidence became part of who you are. And once that happens, nothing can stand in your way. Patience and discipline are game changers. They separate those who succeed from those who quit too soon. The truth is most people don't reach their goals, not because they're not talented or smart, but because they give up before the results show up. They don't fail because they lack potential, but because they lack the patience to stay committed to the process. They expect results right away. They want success to be quick and effortless. And when that doesn't happen, they walk away. But here's what they miss. Anything that truly matters takes time. Every person you look up to, every person who's accomplished something meaningful has one thing in common. They stayed consistent even when things didn't go their way. They didn't stop when it got tough. They didn't walk off just because results weren't immediate. They knew that real growth happens slowly, and the only way to reach it is through steady effort. This is where most people mess up. They begin something full of excitement, but the moment they run into challenges, they lose faith. They start believing that if results don't show up fast, it must mean they're on the wrong path. But the reality is that the gap between effort and results is natural, it's built into the journey, it's meant to take time, and that's where patience comes in. Think of a seed. You place it in the soil, you water it, you give it sunlight, but for a long time, maybe even months, it looks like nothing is changing. But underground, something is happening. Roots are growing, the base is getting stronger. One day the plant finally breaks through the ground. That's exactly how growth works. Just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean they aren't on the way. But many people never get to that point. They give up before the breakthrough shows up. This is why self-discipline matters so much. Discipline is what keeps you going when your motivation disappears. Because, let's be honest, there will be days when you won't want to show up. There will be days when you feel unsure about yourself, when it feels like nothing is moving fast. Enough when you question whether any of it is worth it. But discipline is choosing to keep going anyway. It's showing up even when you don't feel ready. It's doing the work not because you're inspired, but because you promised yourself you would. And here's the truth. Most people are chasing motivation, but what they really need is discipline. Motivation fades, it comes and goes, but discipline is what creates lasting results. It's waking up early when you'd rather stay in bed. It's putting in effort when no one's paying attention. It's staying locked in when everything around you is trying to pull you off track. And when you mix discipline with patience, that's when things start to change. Because when you trust the journey, when you understand that real results don't come instantly, you stop feeling defeated. You stop giving up too early. You stop letting small setbacks make you question your big goals. Most people expect too much from a week, but don't realize how much they could achieve in a year. They feel disappointed when progress doesn't show right away, but they forget how much they could build if they just stayed steady over time. The truth is, small committed actions done over and over and over and over and over and over and over bring huge results. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're wondering whether you're still on the right track, ask yourself, are you giving it enough time? Are you staying consistent even when it's tough? Are you showing up for yourself daily even when it seems like nothing's happening? Because if you are, then don't stop. Your moment is coming. The rewards will appear, but only if you stay patient and focused enough to keep going. The ones who win in life aren't always the brightest or most gifted. They're the ones who don't give up. They're the ones who keep pushing day after day, believing that their effort will pay off. And that's exactly what you need to do, because if you can master discipline and patience, there's nothing that can hold you back. Success doesn't need attention. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't require you to tell the world what you're doing. In fact, the strongest move is staying quiet and letting your success do the talking. Too many people waste time saying what they're going to do instead of just doing it. They get stuck in trying to impress others, waiting for compliments or permission. But the truth is, real success is built in silence when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when it's just you and effort. The problem with always sharing your goals is that it tricks your brain into thinking you've already done something. Studies show that announcing goals gives your brain a reward signal similar to actually achieving them. This creates a false sense of progress. You feel good, but you haven't done the real work yet. That's why so many people talk big but don't follow through. They've already gotten the emotional reward before they even started. But when you stay quiet, when you focus on putting in the work instead of chasing attention, that's when the real transformation happens, because now you're not wasting time justifying your moves to others. You're not asking for anyone's permission. You're not needing anyone to agree with your choices. You're simply doing the work and in time. That builds real momentum. Think about the most successful people in any field. They're not spending time announcing every step. They're not trying to prove their worth through words. They just show up. Stay consistent and let the results speak. That's the mindset you need to have. Because when you're focused on your own growth, there's no space to worry about approval. You're too busy becoming the person you're meant to be. Another reason silence is so powerful is that it protects your focus. Every time you share your vision with people who don't understand, you open the door to doubt, to negative opinions, to discouragement. Not everyone will cheer for you. Not everyone will understand your direction. And if you're not careful, their words can get in your head and make you second guess yourself. That's why it's often better to hold your vision quietly and let your progress do the talking. When you stay quiet, you stay in control. You don't give others a chance to affect your focus. But this isn't just about being silent. It's about using all your energy for your personal growth instead of getting distracted by what others are doing. Too many people lose time comparing themselves to others, constantly checking how far others have gone, measuring their own steps by someone else's journey. But the moment you bring your attention back to yourself, everything shifts, because now you're not chasing someone else's pace. You're not stuck trying to follow trends. You're simply growing into your best version. And here's what's amazing. When you stay centered on your own progress, when you block out the distractions, when you do the work quietly, things begin to align. You start attracting better chances. You start seeing steady improvements. You start building confidence, not because others told you that you're capable, but because you showed yourself that you are. Success isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the most steady. It's about showing up every single day, whether anyone notices or not. It's about staying loyal to your path, even when no one's clapping for you. Because when you do that, when you stop talking, stop needing to explain, and just keep growing, it's only a matter of time before everything shifts. And by then, you won't need to say anything. Your growth will speak loud enough on its own.